Sorry, but we're not the same. No, we're not the same. Boo-hoo, poor you. Please forgive me, cause I don't feel any pity. I'm fed up with lies. You wanted my demise. Now you're watching me rise, rise, rise. Up in the window. Smaller and smaller, you fade out. Up in the window. Yeah. You cannot get my vibe. No, there's no way. I'm flying high above all your gravity. Trying to bring me down, but I'll never stay. Hey, hey, watch me levitate. You cannot get my vibe. No, there's no way. You can say what you want, call me insane. Trying to bring me down, but I'll never stay. Hey, hey, watch me levitate. Watch me levitate. Watch me levitate. You cannot get my vibe. No, there's no way. I'm flying high above all your gravity. Trying to bring me down, but I'll never stay. Hey, hey, watch me levitate. You cannot get my vibe. No, there's no way. You can say what you want, call me insane. Trying to bring me down, but I'll never stay. Hey, hey, watch me levitate. Watch me levitate. Even now, you're coming up to me, fire lighting up the sky. Feel the ground shaking underneath, trying to take me alive. Get ready for the fallout. Can't stop me now. I got no rival. I'ma find my way through the blood and pain game of survival. Any time or place, watch 'em run away. I got none. I'll be standing on my own.
Hello, 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 hello. We are back. So, we're going to take a little turn again. Once again, we are going to start video game development. We've done a few sessions here or there in previous streams, and we've kind of switched the focus, but we're going to go back to video game development here. And we're actually working on... One moment. Let me lower the music just one moment here. We're actually working on a new project. So this project is called Managing Expectations. And unlike previous video game projects that I've worked on or that I've worked on with other people like Joker, who's watching the stream right now, we intend for this to be the first game that we actually monetize. So we intend to, publish it on Steam in hopes that, we profit off this game, make some money. What you're seeing right now is the very first scene of the game. So this is meant to be a 2D side scroller that is going to pretty much make fun of your standard 2D video game stereotypes. So what you typically see in your 2D platformers, what you see in Mario and all that stuff, what typically is expected to happen, I want the inverse to happen. I want to kind of apply a more realistic expectation or result to these types of stereotypes that take place in these games. and I'm hoping for that to result in like humorous moments that the gamer can resonate with, laugh at while they're navigating through the story in a very, very unique manner. And what we have here is, if you look at this lovely gentleman right here, this is Doug. Now, keep in mind that what you're seeing right now, the two characters in this scene, as well as the background, this is all AI generated. These are placeholder sprites to help visualize what the vision is behind this scene. Everything that you're seeing that is AI generated will be replaced by actual art, whether it's created by myself, by someone assisting with the creation of the game, or whether we're just purchasing assets. But we very, very strongly, in no way, shape, or form will not waver. We will make sure that there's no AI generated content in this game. So that's the goal here, and that's where we're at. And being transparent, it's been quite a bit since I've gotten into Unity, the video game engine. So I also have our most recent project also open, Cookie Carnage. I called it Cookie Chopper here, but the game is called Cookie Carnage, and this is just going to help us in the event that we need to do any scripting or anything like that. We can pull up some scripts that we created here, many scripts that we created here, and open them up and use them as examples to kind of refresh our memories on the types of different things we need to do. But today, we're actually going to be doing something that I've never done before. Hold on a second. We're going to put some music back on here. Oh, too loud. So we're going to do something that we've never done before. We're going to incorporate dialogue boxes into our video game. And in order to do that, we actually needed to download a plugin to this project called the dialogue system. It's a built-in dialogue system for Unity. It actually costs a little bit of money. At retail price, it would have been $95, but I was able to get it at a discounted rate for closer to $73. But this is the built-in dialogue system for Unity. This is like, there's a few different types of dialogue systems that you can utilize within Unity. Some are free, some cost a little bit more money, but this is probably the most professional version. So in the event, this is actually probably the better option for us to choose, since we intend to make this game for commercial use. So we're going to be doing this for the first time. So, and keep in mind that a lot of what we're doing here is going to be for the first time. So just keep that in mind. Bear with me as we navigate and we learn together. And hopefully over the course of time in these streams, you'll see me being a lot more proficient, a lot less reliant on resources like ChatGPT, and kind of just seamlessly flowing through creative ideas in order to help create this game. The goal for today's stream is to incorporate the dialogue. I actually have this written down. One moment. We're going to incorporate the dialogue. We'll even have a fun little branching dialogue where you, the player, will actually be able to choose whether you wish to participate in this quest or not. And if you choose no, it'll be an automatic game over, kind of like a little Easter egg for the player. Like, you can actually choose to not play the game if you don't want to. The dialogue piece, I don't really know how long it's going to take. Estimated time for navigating through the dialogue piece here is going to be 60 to 90 minutes, which is roughly half the stream. However, I think we might be able to get it done sooner than that, simply because Joker and I finished the dialogue for this scene, or we created the dialogue for this scene in a script a few weeks ago. So I think that the estimated time frame to get that done has taken the creation of the dialogue into account. So with that being said, let's take a quick look at what we've created so far. I worked on this yesterday. So we simply have our lovely Doug walking. You'll notice there's no animation there just yet. And he will get to the throne where the butler is crying because the princess is missing. Now, we're going to navigate here. And I think the first thing we need to do is... Oh, one thing that I wanted to do prior to getting straight into the dialogue is to create a fade-in kind of visual to this scene. So when you start the game, it fades in to Doug, and then Doug starts walking, kind of thing. Which we'll do the fade in first, and he'll most likely be walking already, but we can fix that later. So one thing at a time, right? So first thing we're going to need to do, we already have a canvas, but this is not, we don't want to use this canvas. This looks like the canvas that's dedicated to the dialogue manager. So we're not going to touch that. Let's create our own canvas. UI, I'm pretty sure it's right here, canvas. We'll call this, we'll just call this canvas for now. Let's not overthink this just yet, because I don't really know if this canvas will serve other purposes. And then within the canvas, we're going to add a UI image. The color for it is going to be solid black. And then, let's see. Sorry, one moment. Okay. Color for it is going to be solid black. We can name the, we'll name the image itself fade panel. Okay. Then we're going to set the canvas to screen space overlay, which is already set. So that's good to go. And we're going to add a script to it. So we're going to have to create a new script. We're already in the script folder, so we'll create a new script. And this is going to be, this one's going to be called Fade In. Right, and we'll dive right in and we'll open up these scripts. And while we're doing so, I can show you what the other two scripts are for and what we've done so far. What's very, very bothersome is that this dialogue system welcome image, it keeps popping up every single time I take some script related action, and I don't know how to fix it. I'm going to close the tab, but I believe it's going to pop up again if I do that. So here's our scripts. We can update this later. I'm not very much interested in that right now. What we've done is we've done a move scene left, and that's what causes this whole, see, what you have here is 3 images, 2 images of the castle walls, and I've blended them in together so they kind of overlap a little bit to make it seem like they are, like it's a continuous walkway. And then the final image, which is the throne room, I've placed all 3 of these images within a castle background group, as well as the butler. I've also placed the butler there because when these 3 images move, I also want the butler to move as well. So this simulates the walking action where it looks like Doug is walking to the right, but it really just is the background moving left, which is how a traditional side scroller works. When you are not controlling the character, you are moving the background the opposite direction of the character, and as long as you have some type of like moving animation associated with the character, it will very much look like the character is walking. It already does so right now, even without the animation. So, however, if I was to just continue doing this, it would get to a point where you would see the end of the right side of the image, and that's where things get a little bit. It looks very, very odd because you're just seeing a blank space. So what I do is I have Doug move to the right once we stop the side scrolling. So he moves to the right just a little bit at the very end, and that's represented by this script. That kid Doug, dog. So yeah, so this is our move scene left. So this is what happens first, and then Doug takes those final steps to the right, and that's how we have this lovely little transition. Which, don't mind this, we'll fix this in a second. So right here, Doug is taking those last few steps to the right. Hey Pearly Fox, I hope you're doing well. All right, so now we're going to go into our fade in script and we're going to plug this in and we'll talk. It's very important that, especially when we're taking scripts from ChatGPT, it's very important that we look them over, right? We want to make sure that we understand the script. We understand what we're doing. You'll notice that this is populating an error, and that's because we need to input that we are also using the Unity engine.ui space as well. Okay, so what are we doing? Let's take a look at what we're doing and try and figure it out before we take a look at what ChatGPT is asking us to do here. So we have fade duration. This is how long it takes for the fade to take place. We have the fade image, which is this right here. So it's private, which means we don't need to plug anything in. And then we have a timer. At the start, the fade image is going to get component, which is this image. Okay, so that makes sense. So what we're doing, we're plugging in this script to the canvas, and inside the canvas, it will look within the canvas for the image, which is right here, and it'll apply this fade image. Then we're going to change color C equals fade image dot color, which is black. C dot A equals 1F. I don't quite understand that. And then fade image color equals C. Very interesting. Oh, fade image dot color equals C. Okay, got it. So if the fade image dot color A is greater than 0, then timer equals time dot delta time, so that we're making the time relative to the current time. Okay, let's take a look and see what that does. Add a full screen UI image. Full screen UI image. You see, every time I do something, this pops up. It is the most annoying thing ever. All right, where's our fade panel? Add a full screen UI image, color solid black, name it fade panel. Did I do that correctly? Oh, okay. It looks like... Oh, I see. Okay. So this should cover the whole screen if I'm not mistaken. Perfect. Okay, it does successfully. All right, we've done that. Let's give the fade in script to our canvas. And then let's see if that successfully accomplishes what we need to accomplish here. No, that doesn't. What am I attaching the fade in script to? Oh, okay. So yes, so we've attached the script to the canvas, which is incorrect. We should be attaching the fade in script to the fade panel. That made more sense in the beginning, but the instructions weren't that clear. Let's try this again. That was actually pretty good. If we want the fade duration to take a little bit longer, we can increase that here. It did look like it was too quick, so maybe we'll do 4 seconds, and if we don't like that, we can drop it down to 3. I like that. I honestly don't even see a need to halt Doug's movement until after the fade in takes place. I kind of like the walk. Let's reduce this to 3 and see what that looks like. And if we like 4 better, we'll go back to that. If not, we can do this. That's fine right there. 3. So what we'll do is we'll go back to the script. We know that we want it at 3. So we'll change this to 3. And we'll remove public. So we can lock that in as a private variable. We'll even call it private just for the proper nomenclature. So we come back to our engine, and you'll see fade duration will disappear. So we kind of baked that number in. Great, so we have our fade in already done. Good to go there. And now let's create, we're gonna now work towards, we need to make this disappear because it's currently making it very difficult to see what's going on here. Well, let me turn this back on real quick actually. Yeah, it's probably best to just disable it for the time being. That's fine. We'll re-enable it later down the road. Okay, so now we have our dialogue system. It's right here. This is just an example where we can have it. We can have some dialogue, and we can branch it off based off of the conversation between the butler and Doug. But before we do that, what we need to do is we need to make it so that the dialogue only happens once Doug hits a trigger. Trigger is an invisible object, basically kind of like a barrier, where the moment you interact with that trigger or you touch that trigger, something happens. Something triggers, which is why the term trigger is so appropriate to that scenario. Okay, so let's create a empty game object. We'll call it dialogue trigger zone. Dialogue trigger zone. Right, this is going to be like a nice little square. We'll reset this to 0. And we'll give it a box collider 2D. Fantastic. We'll make the collider itself just a little bit longer. Kind of like Doug's size, basically. Okay. And now that we're kind of at Doug's level, we can move this all the way to the right, because I know that I want the dialogue to start like right here, right when Doug reaches this part of the level. We also need to make sure that this is set to is trigger. We got to add the component dialogue system trigger. We'll set the trigger to on trigger enter. Drag Doug into the condition is greater than target. Hold on. What is this? Accepted tags. So this indicates, let me see if I have not labeled Doug as the player. So I've labeled Doug as the player now. So this looks like, based off this, ChatGPT is giving me what appears to be outdated instructions off of a previous version of the dialogue system with Unity. So we're going to kind of try and figure this out ourselves. It looks like accepted tags basically indicates, okay, what is acceptable where if this walks in, if this collides with this, that it can be accepted as a trigger, as it being the trigger. And we just set that tag to Doug, so we can kind of see if that works. And let's see if this starts the conversation, scene intro. And then the conversation actor is going to be Doug. And then the conversant is going to be the butler. Okay, let's try it. I don't know if this is going to work. I'm wondering if I need to create a box collider for condition target. Ooh, accepted game objects. Let's try this. Let's try that. And I want to make sure that I am in fact... Oh, you see that? That's the problem. Our trigger... That's so interesting. Okay, so let's find out where the trigger needs to be. Right there. At 1. Okay. So let's move this to 1. How interesting is that? So that worked. The reason why I don't think this is working though is because Doug doesn't have a trigger or a box collider. So let's give Doug a box collider. That's very insulting to Doug. He's not that fat. Good. I'm glad you are, buddy. I'm glad you are. Okay. I think that this is going to work this time. Come on, baby. No. I'm wondering if I accidentally left. Did I leave a trigger on somewhere? I don't know if I did. I'm wondering if the fact that I had both these things set meant that they were like conflicting with each other. So let's try it like this for a second. Okay. Let's also remove this. I feel like this might be like additional steps that we don't need to take just yet. I feel like I'm doing everything right here. Yes, correct. So let me show you what the dialogue looks like. That's what that looks like. I mean, it's at a very brief level. That's what that looks like. Obviously, it's customizable. We can make it look like whatever we want it to look like. But the goal right now is to get the functionality working. We were able to do that by changing it from on start to on trigger, from on trigger enter to on start. Actually, let me try something. Let me check. I wonder if what they meant was this. No. That doesn't work either. Okay. I'm trying to let ChatGPT know that like what it's asking me to do as far as like making Doug the condition, their specific instructions is not. Ooh. That is true. That is true. I do not have rigid body associated to that is so true. So rigid body is basically, I said it's a kinematic, right? Yeah. Rigid body is basically the physics engine in Unity, and it helps detect collisions. And this did not have a rigid body associated to it, so maybe that might be an issue. We're gonna tag our player as player. We already did that. On the dialog trigger component, accepted tags, add player so the trigger only responds to Doug. So we actually did the right thing on our first try, which is pretty cool. So let's try this again. Let's go to, there's an add tag button that I had here. Where is that? Doesn't matter, we could just type it in. Great. Okay. Wait, what? I'll start conversation. Perfect. Okay, this looks like it'll work. Let's try this. Come on, baby. Boom! All right, cool. Functionality is there, folks. What was the missing piece? The dialogue and the dialogue trigger zone needed a rigid body. It needed the physics engine associated with it to detect something colliding with it. In this case, Doug. All right, now we get to showcase a fancy little thingy thing we did here not too long ago. So if you'll take a look here, this is a lovely script written by yours truly and my dear nephew, Joker. So we're gonna plug this in. This may take a little bit, but shouldn't take that long. We're gonna try and do a little bit of copy and paste here. All right. So let's go to the dialogue and then should be able to just copy and paste what we've worked on here, minus the emotions. Oh, let's bring that back. We'll also delete all these branching. Yeah, delete. All right. Okay, good. Doug comes in, says, hello. Alfredo says, ahem, yes, how can the kingdom help you today, my lord? Create child node. Yeah, I'm looking for a zoning permit so that I can... Oh my gosh, I remember this. So we have to... we have to put with a whimpers multiple times. Forgot about this. All right, let's save real quick. Let's see what that looks like real quick before we start doing all this dialogue. Oh, it looks like I have to... His dialogue stayed up there for a little bit. Let me see if it goes away even if I don't make a decision. It stays up there. Okay. I guess that does make sense. I hate this. Definitely a lot of customization opportunities, but let's focus on getting this on paper. We don't need to do anything. Whimper, whimper, whimper. Whimpering whimpers. Holy moly. Ooh. Can I make this? Hold on. Let me try something here. Nice. Oh wow, we also have it so that once this happens, yeah, I need to make it so that once this dialogue tree happens, that it triggers another script to have Doug starting to walk away. Because that's what we originally had it. I know. I love it. Holy moly, it's a long ass script too. Let's see what we got so far. There's a lot of learning involved here. Authorities, pish posh. Everyone knows it takes a noble hero to save a princess in need. Ideally, an unexpected person with a very basic life and occupation, like a plumber, for example. You, my lord, what's your occupation? Oh my gosh. So silly. Yes, sir. I agree. I'm sure we can also control the timing. Like, what's this right here? Interesting. Oh, see? Right there. That's what I need. Look at that. That's what we need. So, okay. This is what we're going to go back to, is when we need certain things to take place throughout the dialogue, like movement and stuff like that. We'll figure it out. Like, if we want to make it really, really good, I'm even talking about, like, when he says this, when he's like, you want me to rescue the princess? You don't know anything about me. Have you contacted the authorities? Prior to him saying that, in our script, it says that he sighs. And I would like to do like a little animation where he shrugs his shoulders right before he starts talking, you know, a little bit more dramatic that way. I'm willing to put in that time to do that. I'm looking at it now, and I think in order to create this scene, we might even need to create a third castle background to give him more space to walk, to create that ongoing dialogue with the butler. But we'll see. One thing at a time. That's essentially a plumber, but on land. You're perfect, my lord. You're perfect. Oh my gosh. I'm so glad we wrote this script, Tony. We need to do this prior to every scene. It's going to save so much time. I always wondered, like, is this... Why does this keep... What's going on here? I was wondering, like, is this something that video game designers do? They must do some variation of this in order to streamline things. I wonder if I could create things like notes or something. Oh my gosh, the narrator. I forgot about the narrator. Jesus. Yeah, I assume they have some form of script where they create actual scenarios that would take place in each scene of the game. Yeah. I agree. Has to be. Who the heck was that? "'Tis the narrator, my lord." Why yes, every hero needs a narrator to guide them on their journey and describe what they're doing. Every hero has this. We're almost done. We're almost done. Ha, my lord, you should do ask a lot of questions. Well, technically, he's talking to the butler. Please be my guest. Doug is not having any of this. gosh. All right. We got a lot of dialogue. Let's save. Let's run the scene. And we'll tweak accordingly. What are we going to do? What am I going to do? Ahem, yes. How can the kingdom help you today, my lord? Yes, I'm looking for a zoning permit so that I can... I need a permit so that I can build... so I can build... I need a zoning permit so that I can build a shed in my backyard. I'm terribly sorry, my lord, but it seems that this day has brought us nothing but dismay. As you can see, the princess has been captured. Without a princess to... Ooh, I don't like that. I don't like that. How do we control that? Let's exit out real quick. Where is our dialogue manager? There it is. Okay. All right. Show the response menu even if there's only one response. No, I don't like that. I would love for the player to be able to click to go to the next scene. That'd be nice. Maybe the continue button is what that is. Let's see. Oh, look, my dialogue isn't popping up. Let's take this off real quick and see if my dialogue pops back up, because we made 2 changes. Yeah. Yep, we fucked that up. So let's change this back to always. Let's go back to input settings and always force response menu, even if there's only one response, which is stupid. I don't like that. Let's see. What are we going to do? What am I going to do? Hello? Ahem, yes. How can the kingdom help you today, my lord? Yeah, I'm looking for a zoning permit so that I can... I need a permit so that I can build... so I can build... I need a zoning permit so I can build a shed in my backyard. I'm terribly sorry, my lord, but it seems that this day has brought us nothing but dismay. As you can see, the princess has been captured. I'm afraid your shed will never be built. I'll just come back at a later time. Oh, if only a brave hero. As I was saying, if only a brave hero would heed the call and rescue our poor princess. It could literally be anyone. Anyone with courage, a good heart, common decency. You want me to rescue the princess? You don't know anything about me. Have you contacted the authorities to help rescue her? Authorities? Pish posh. Everyone knows it takes a noble hero to save a princess in need. Ideally, an unexpected person with a very basic life and occupation. Like a plumber, for example. You, my lord, what's your occupation? Me? I'm a ground level sanitation operative. Poop? You scoop poop? I scoop poop. That's essentially a plumber, but online you're perfect, my lord. I'm sure you can find someone better than a poop scooper to save the ruler of our kingdom. Sorry, but I'm no hero. What? I don't know. No one usually denies the call to action like this. Call to action? Yeah, it's the beginning of every story where the hero is presented the main conflict that needs to... Never mind. Look, man, you do what you want, but until the princess gets rescued, there's no one here that can approve that permit. Fine, I'll rescue your princess. Without hesitation, Doug accepts the call to action. Who the heck was that? 'Tis the narrator, my lord. He appears once a hero accepts the call. Narrator? Why, yes, every hero needs a narrator to guide them on their journey and describe what they're doing. Is this really necessary? Ha! My lord, you do. You sure? I love that part. You sure do ask a lot of questions. Alfredo, if I may? Please be my guest. Doug, I know things about this kingdom that may aid you on your quest. I'm sure I'll prove useful on your journey in rescuing Princess Petal. If you ever get tired of me, you can simply disable me in the settings menu. Really? No, I'm a central part of the story. Alright, fine, let's get on with it already. Doug and the narrator got along almost immediately. It was clear that they were the perfect duo for the job. Splendid, the princess will get rescued the way she was supposed to get rescued. What's your name, noble hero? It's Doug. Ah, Doug, definitely a memorable name. Go, Doug. Go henceforth and make history. Oh, you know what? I actually wanted to see... That's another thing that we should take into account. We probably don't want to show Doug's name until he reveals his name. So let's see if it shows his name each time he speaks. Oh no, it doesn't. Perfect. Okay, cool. All right. What do we want to work on first? Let's write down what our issues are with this scene. What are our issues? Doug needs to move at a certain point in the in the dialogue. Okay, that's one issue. Branching dialogue needs to be input. This should end the game if the player chooses the wrong answer. You probably work on that first. Dialogue box. Doug's dialogue shouldn't be a decision each time, especially when there's only one option. Sorry about that. Tough news. Just received some tough news. Okie doke. What else? What else do we have issues with on this script? Dialogue for Doug is too large. Need to incorporate voice for narrator. Need to incorporate audio, mumble audio for Doug and the butler. All right, what should we tackle first? I think the easiest thing to take on would be this.
Welcome to the dark.
All right, the easiest thing to do that I actually know how to do would be this. Then voices for characters should be last. Okay. Okay, that's already at the end. We can also do the voice at the end. Dialogue box for Doug. I think this is pivotal. Doug needs to move it. That's harder. Okay, this is the order in which we're going to tackle our objectives. Branching dialogue needs to be input. This should end the game if the player chooses the wrong answer. So we can input the branching dialogue immediately. All right, we'll find the section. Right here. Fine, I'll rescue your princess. We also wanted to incorporate a pause. I don't know how to do that here. Let's also write that down. Incorporate a pause before Doug's decision options pop up. Okay, fine. I'll rescue your princess. New child node over here. All right, Tony. What should Doug say instead of "Fine, I'll rescue your princess"? Where basically he's refusing the call, and if the player chooses it, it's an immediate game over.
Step it up, look sharp. Welcome to the dark. Welcome to the dark. Step it up. Step it up. Step it up. Step it up. Look sharp. Welcome to the dark, to the dark, to the dark, to the dark, to the dark. Welcome to the dark.
Oh yeah, let's also take a look at what he wrote. You do what you want, but until the president is one here that can improve it from that. Sweet. I'll just come back later. Sweet, I'll just come back later and ask who's in charge for those permits. Thanks. All right, perfect. Lovely. Okay, so we're going to add a game manager script. I'm sorry. I meant a game manager game object, and then we'll do a game manager. What was it? Game manager? No. Let's go to our cookie carnage. Scene manager. Scene manager is what we'd like. Even if I lost in my money, scene manager. Even if I lost in my money. All right, let's see if that worked. Thanks for your help, Tony. Oh, the thing didn't save. Look. Oh, crap. What did it say? What did we write down? Sweet. I'll come back later. The new person in charge. That's so... Those permits. Catch you later. So sassy. All right. Okay. I think that's it. Let's try it. Perfect. All right, quick game requested, so that worked. Doug's dialogue shouldn't be a decision each time, especially when there's only one option. Yeah, I agree. Why is that happening? I gotta save this song real quick. Alright, so what do we gotta do here? Let's uncheck this one more time. See what happens. I think I found it. Damn it. Yes. All right, that worked. Doug's dialogue shouldn't be a decision each time, especially when there's only one option. Doug dialogue box for Doug is too large. We kind of solved that. However, let's see if we can format that a little bit. Alright, doesn't look like I can customize. I like that there's basic standard dialogue UI and canvas. This is good. We'll be able to modify this stuff later. Okay. This time now it shows that Doug, I want to keep him unknown, right? Also, let's see if we can put the same dialogue on top for Doug as well, so you're not going up and down to press continue. Yeah, you're right. I also don't like that as well, but I don't know what the final visual is going to look like. However, we do need to we don't need to skimp on that. So let's do that real quick. Revisit having to go up and down to continue. To click continue. And then Doug's name should be hidden until it's revealed. Alright, so we could do that by going back to dialogue, actors, Doug. Doug is player, and then we'll create a new one, and we'll say stranger. Stranger. And we'll make stranger is player. All right, and then we'll go back to the conversations, and we'll work our way until our eventual name reveal. Stranger. 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 Oh. Stranger. Ah. Stranger. 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 Save. Good call. All right. Oh, actually, let's save. Okay. Now let's see what we got. Martian Labs. Thanks for the follow, buddy. I really appreciate it. I'll just come back. Only for Brave Hero. As I was saying, if only a Brave Hero would hear the call. It could clearly be anyone. Anyone with courage, a good heart. It's going pretty good. How are you, my friend? Just working on our first commercial video game here called Managing Expectations. It's basically going to be a very meta, stereotypical parody of your typical 2D side scroller. Could literally be anyone. Anyone with courage, a good heart, common decency. You want me to rescue the princess? You don't know anything about me. Have you contacted the authorities to help rescue her? Appreciate it. Authorities, pish posh. Everyone knows it takes a noble hero to save a princess in need. Ideally, an unexpected person with a very basic life and occupation, like a plumber, for example. You, my lord, what's your occupation? Me, I'm a ground level sanitation operative. Poop. You scoop poop. I scoop poop. That's essentially a plumber, but on land. You're perfectly, my lord. I'm sure you can find someone better than a pooper scooper to save the rule of our kingdom. Sorry, but I'm no hero. What? I don't know. No one usually denies the call to action like this. Call to action? Yeah, it's the beginning of every story where the hero's presented the main conflict and needs to... Never mind. Look, man, you do what you want, but until the princess gets rescued, there's no one here that can approve that permit. Fine, I'll rescue your princess. Without hesitation, the stranger accepts the call to action. Who the heck was that? 'Tis the narrator, my lord. He appears once a hero accepts the call. Narrator? Why, yes, every hero needs a narrator to guide them on their journey and describe what they're doing. Is this really necessary? Ha, my lord, you sure do ask a lot of questions. Alfredo, if I may. Please, be my guest. Stranger, I know things about this kingdom that may aid you on your quest. I'm sure I'll prove useful on your journey in rescuing Princess Petal. If you ever get tired of me, you can simply disable me in the settings menu. I'm gonna put besides. If you ever get tired of me, you can simply disable me in the settings menu! Exclamation point. Really? Nah. And I'm gonna put nah here. I'm a central part of the story. Alright, fine. Let's get on with it. The stranger and the narrator got along almost immediately. It was clear that they were the perfect duo for the job. Splendid. The princess will get rescued the way she was supposed to get rescued. What's your name, noble hero? It's Doug. Ah, Doug, definitely a memorable name. Go, Doug, go henceforth and make history. Lovely. Right. We need to... I decided I want to trigger a fade out. I want to trigger a fade out too, right? Should we trigger a fade out kind of like how we fade in, or what do you think, Joker? I know we're kind of jumping around issues now, but what do you think? I'm aspiring to be a solo dev. Not solo, but very indie, very, very small team base oriented. Yeah. We actually have a project here. So Joker has helped me with a few projects already. But let me show you another project we made, actually. Martian Warrior here. Let me turn off the music real quick for just a split second. So this is a 48-hour project. This is a 48-hour project that Joker and I did. We joined one of those mini game jams, and we had to make a video game in 48 hours where the basic premise was don't be surrounded, don't get surrounded, and we had to incorporate a helicopter into the game, which in transparency, the helicopter in this game doesn't make much sense, but we did incorporate it. And yeah, it's basically a Girl Scout cookie game. So here is Cookie Carnage. It says Cookie Chopper up here, but the actual game is called Cookie Carnage.
Out of my way, top cookies are coming through.
I noticed that it
I
doesn't.
need to watch my girlish figure.
I noticed that it doesn't start with the main menu, which is interesting. It just dives straight into the game. Ugh. Oh, that's because I have it set to this scene. Actually, let's go to the main menu. There we go. Cookie Carnage. So you can actually go to the options and you can choose your favorite character. You got Cocoa Nutmeg, Sunny Honey Bun, and Ginger Snap. I like Ginger Snap. And then you go play.
I'm not just selling you cookies. I'm offering you an adventure in every box.
Oh, shh. So the smaller ones take only one box, whereas perfect timing, by the way. The larger ones take 3 boxes, and then the average ones take 2 boxes. And then the audio clips that you're hearing is either myself or Joker. Cookies. Just changing our voices. This is like resupply. So I'll let you hear a few other voice clips. Oh.
I need to watch my girlish figure.
Was that you or me, Tony? I don't remember. I think that was you. That was your voice. So we used a voice changer to.
I need to watch my girlish figure.
Here's the helicopter. Makes you invincible for the time being. Where's your voice clip? Oh.
One more box wouldn't hurt.
Your clip has not popped up. Hold on, I'm gonna keep playing until, well, hopefully if I make it. Ooh. Cookies. Oh!
Over.
Shit. Yes, as you can see. But my favorite audio clip is the beginning. So she has like a few different audio clips when she joins the game, but we used the voice of the Squid Games girl from that hide and seek game, that very first game where you got to run when that doll is not looking. So it's her voice, and we just did a bunch of different slogans.
I'm not just selling you cookies. I'm offering you an adventure in
Yeah,
every box.
green light, red light is right. I love those
I
lines.
come in peace, but I mean business with these cookies.
I come in peace, but I mean business with these cookies. So yeah, so everything we've done so far has not been for commercial use. This is our first attempt at making a commercial use game, and it's actually like our second day working on this game. So very, very early in. What you're seeing here is not even art that we generated. These are placeholder sprites, which we'll replace with actual art that we make or that we purchase. And we're just getting used to the mechanics for the dialogue creation, which we're doing for the first time. This is our first game where there is dialogue, and we have to incorporate that. Very much going for... Oh, let me put the music back on. Very much going for the type of vibe where you've seen... I don't know if you've played games like Pony Island, or there's these games, these very low budget games where when the players talk, they mumble. You can kind of hear them mumbling. Maybe even Animal Crossing is another good example. Want to kind of incorporate that mumbling when these characters talk, but the narrator, which was in the script, if you were paying attention, the narrator will actually be an actual voice, a voice actor, which will be a funny little twist. You actually hear the narrator speak out loud. Which is exciting. So, back to... Yeah. Thanks. Appreciate the support, Martial Labs. So, yeah. So, I think, Joker, I think that regardless of where our characters are at the moment of time, when the scene ends, we can fade out and it'll be fine. Now the question is, how do we incorporate a fade out? We have our fade panel, which we should call, let's call it, let's bring this back and let's call this fade in panel. And then we'll, I don't think this is gonna work, but I don't remember if I think in order for this to work, we need to make the fade in script more public, because I need to modify either that. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. And I don't, you know, there's what I'm trying to say is that there is a sacrifice of time here. We can try and figure this out ourselves, which we benefit from a learning standpoint, or if we think it's going to take too long to figure it out, we ask ChatGPT and we learn that way. So let's take a brief look here and see if we can figure out what this means. As a matter of fact, let's not complicate things, and let's do this. Let's create a new script called fade out. That way, if we ever want to incorporate the fade in, fade out mechanics, it'll be just as easy as uploading these scripts. So fade out. And then let's bring this back. Let's bring this, let's open this up. And then let's take the fade in script, copy and paste it here. Again, we need to make sure that we're using the Unity engine.ui space so that the image makes sense. All right, color C fade image.color C.A equals 1F. Fade image.color equals C. I think that's it. So I think that the goal here is to get it. It was originally to get it from 1 to 0. So that this is what we're looking at in terms of transparency. A is the one of the parts of the color. Hold on, I'll show you exactly what I'm trying to say. If you go to this stupid. This is A. You see this? And 1 would be this all the way over here to the right. And 0 would be this all the way to the not transparent. To the completely transparent version. So I believe that it's as easy as that. I think that this script is ready to go. So let's create a fade out panel. Oh, you know what? Actually, the script is not ready. You see this? At start, it should be 0. Okay. I feel good about that. I just realized something. Oh my god, this thing is driving me absolutely bonkers. I hate it so much. Alright, let's take off fade in script. Oops. Remove components. Do fade out. So the reason this is not going to work is because this is active, and there's absolutely nothing stopping. There's nothing. This is immediately going to. This is going to work, but it's going to work immediately, and that's not good. You'll start. What you're gonna see is it fade out and then fade in. Oh no. Our script didn't work. What am I doing wrong? What's wrong with my fade out script? Oh, if fade image dot color is greater than 0, so this needs to be less than 1. This is not doing anything because it's not. We're not meeting the qualifications for this. That should work. Now it's going to do what we want it to do. Well, it's going to do what we want to do too early. Now it's going to fade in and fade out. Perfect. Not perfect, but you know what I mean. So now we need to make it so that this gets activated. It shouldn't be that difficult, actually. So what we'll do is we need to make this a public method. That's what we need to do. We need to make it a public method instead of an update. So what we're going to do is, what do we have here? Scene manager, public void, quick game. So we're going to do Oh, that's an interesting thought, but I think this is gonna be a lot easier for us. Is it capital public? No, it's all okay. Public. All right, take care, Martian Labs. Thanks so much for the follow. I really, really appreciate it. Have a great rest of your evening. Okay. Public void. What are we gonna call this? Fade out. No, fade out method. Hmm. Good job, Nightbot. Good, thanks, Joker. I appreciate it. All right, fade out method. So now we're gonna make this a method that we can call out as opposed to I don't think we need this to be an if formula anymore either, because we're calling it when we want to call it. It should be fine. It should work exactly the way we want it to. So now that we've made this a public method, it will not take place unless we create logic for it to take place. This is exactly what we need for it to fade out. But this is going to stay here because we do want this to take place at the beginning. We want the fade out panel to be completely transparent at the beginning, which is great. So now, if I'm not mistaken, we've already saved. We should be able to go back to managing expectations. And then we'll go to our dialog box and we'll bring it all the way. Boom. So now we have an event associated with the last string of dialogue. This should work. I feel like that's the second time you wrote Gatacha. Sorry. This is gonna feel good if this works. Agreed. Feels good. It feels good. Okay. Oh man, I forgot. I need to make some changes to the narrator's dialogue. Hmm. Yeah, we did. It's very interesting. Why is this not running? I think the fact that we are starting this at a later time is conflicting with time dot delta time. We're gonna cheat, so let's do something real quick, because this is just taking way too long to get through all the dialogue. So we're gonna set this same event on an earlier piece of dialogue, but let's make sure we... Besides, if you ever get tired of me, you can simply disable me in the settings menu. Really? Nah. Nah. Ah. Okay. I'm gonna send you pro story. Alright, and then let's go all the way to the top. Save. So that worked. Let's change this to 20 for a split second. I just want to test something. Yes, I know. That's why the time thing is so... Oh, you know why? Yeah, that makes sense. Because it's going by 20 frames. It was 3 frames instead of 3 seconds. That's why that timer is so important. Let's undo. All right, we're gonna have to ask. We're gonna have to ask our pal. That makes sense. Oh, that's so smart. Oh my gosh. I'm so glad that we reached out. I would not have figured this out. But I can explain exactly what's taking place. Super cool. All right. So the reason that I changed this from being a update method to a method is because we needed to call it when the dialogue ends. However, in order for this to work properly, it needs to rely on the actual time.delta time, which can only take place during the update method, because the update method is a continuous method that never ends. So instead of calling the entire script when we trigger when the dialogue ends, we're actually changing a bool, which is a true or false value. Originally, it will start off as false. Private bool should fade equals false. So when we start the game, it's at false. But when the dialogue ends, it gets changed to true. And the timer equals 0F. Reset the timer in case this gets called again. Then timer equals plus or minus time.delta time. Which I've never understood this, and I'm not going to try and understand this. I don't know what timer plus or minus, plus or equals time.delta time. Never makes sense to me. But anyways, this is going to work swimmingly. How awesome is that? Does that make sense to you, Joker? Fantastic. All right. Super cool. Where do I put this? Yeah, that shit doesn't make any sense. All right, fade out method is still there. So this should work perfectly. We might even want to change the fade out duration to be a little bit longer than the fade in duration. Let's see. Look at that. Beautiful. But this is also not so okay, all right, one thing at a time. Let's change the fade duration to 5. So we figured that out. Let's change it. Well, no. We're going to keep the dialogue. We're going to keep this triggering the fade out because there's one issue taking place here. And it's that this is happening on execute. I don't like that. Delete. You see, on execute, I don't like that. After you click continue, yes, that's what I want. So I'm thinking this is what we'll do. We'll cheat. You know that that's not what happens. Oh. Let me know when you got it. Of course. Perfecto. Alright, let's see how that looks like. Besides, if you ever get tired of me, you can simply disable me in the settings menu. Really? Nah, I'm a central part of the story. That worked. I don't know if it worked. I gotta do it one more time. Cause I pressed continue really fast after that last dialogue option came up. I can actually fix that. So I can have the dialogue pop up at the top every time, except for when Doug needs to make a decision. I could do that. Would you like to see what that looks like? I'll show you what that looks like. It should just be as easy as It should be as easy as just making them non-players. Which I think for this scene is okay. Let's see what that looks like. Worst case scenario, it'll at least make going through the text messages easier for us. What do you think about this? Oh. Interesting. I think you're talking about the same issue I'm talking about. Hold on. Are you talking about hitting continue here? Right here? Yeah, I don't understand what you're saying. You'll still have to press continue after you select the option for one of Doug's lines. So what you're saying is that when I have to make a decision on whether I'm going to accept the call to action or not accept the call to action, I have to click and then I have to press continue? Is that what you're saying? Okay. I didn't notice that. So this is what else I don't like. This is another issue for us here. Clicking this, it doesn't make it go away. So that's two issues we need to solve for. Two more issues that we need to solve for. I'm gonna fix that right now. Last dialog box goes away. Does not go away. Last dialog box does not go away. Damn it. What is it? Oh yeah. Player has to hit continue even after making a decision. All right. So one thing at a time, right? So all we need to do to fix that issue that you're talking about or that you just mentioned is we'll go to dialogue and we'll make another person and we'll also call it stranger. See? But this time we'll make this one player. See? And then what we'll do is we'll go back to the conversations. We'll find that branching dialogue, which is right there. And we'll choose Stranger 6 and Stranger 6. Save. That should resolve that for us. Oh, shoot. Look, and this person, something didn't get saved. Hold on. Let's go back. Do I need to save? Is that what's going on? I wonder if it's giving me an error because the names are the same. He is set as player. Is player. Let's change his name real quick to Stranger Pablo. Well, let's not waste time and let's make sure that the conversations are still Pablo. Okay. Okay. Wait, but look, now the butler's name's popped up. Oh. Alright, I think I know a workaround for this. So our workaround is going to be, we're going to be a little sneaky here. We're going to change this guy's name back to Stranger. Actually, it doesn't really matter what we name him. Doesn't matter what we name it. As long as it's different. Player choice. Let's call it player choice. Doesn't really matter. The name doesn't pop up when you're making a decision. Test. We'll see. We about to find out, cuz. No. You're right. Hold on. We gonna fix that issue, cuz. Boom. See? We got it. All right. This helps. Let's mark a few things off the list now. Last dialogue box does not go away. Revisit having to go up and down. We took care of that, didn't we? Look at that, dude. We got some stuff done here. All right. Last dialog box does not go away. Let me take care of that. I think it might be as easy as a setting. I could have swore I saw this. I saw something like that. Oh shit. Okay. This is cool. All right. Let's do it. Create empty dialogue events. We're gonna have to eventually clean this up. This is very messy. Ooh, that's not correct. Dialogue events. Add your fade out script. Sure. We need to bake in that 5 seconds too. Wait, that doesn't make sense. Get component. That won't work. No. My gut is telling me to not do what it's telling me to do. Dialogue. So let's do it on the fade out panel. Super fucking cool. Is that it? We're gonna find out. Yeah, let's see. I figured there needs to be some sort of what do you mean call on the script? What does that mean? Is it on the script to when it's at that point it's calls? It also doesn't have a start next to the conversation at the end. It also doesn't have a start next to the conversation at the end. I'm gonna call you for this part, if you don't mind. What are you saying right now?
So I'm saying that like on the script um is it calling
Oh,
for
the
it
script.
to fade out at that moment?
Fade out? Yeah. So this is what's going to happen, which will trigger this to take place. So the issue doesn't necessarily, it's not necessarily within the script.
And then that's where I was also saying that it doesn't have a star next to the last piece of conversation.
Correct.
Because when you
Yes.
Because when you go to when it splits, it shows a star showing that you have um, an event or the scene to take place, the scene event.
Yeah, so this is essentially a workaround. This is essentially a workaround to not have to do that. So it's on conversation end, and then this says invoked when a conversation ends. Transform is primary actor, typically player. Oh.
What's on? Oh, wait, no, canceled. Would we just have to put towards the end, make? I'm assuming it's what the butler. We would have to make him player for that one last scene.
So confusing.
That last moment.
The other thing is I don't really have any like I don't have things linked to these people, so that shouldn't be preventing it from taking place either. Let's see. Let's read these instructions. Name it something like dialogue events. Add your fade out script to this game object. I didn't want to do that because I felt like I'd already done this.
Yeah.
Let's do this. I'd like to try your primary suggestion, but it looks like once again you're providing me outdated instructions. I think that the dialogue manager has changed. Let's see what it says. Alright, on your fade out game out, ensure it has your fade out script with the fade out method and fade logic. Also add the component dial. Okay. Configure the on conversation end event. In the dialog system events component under on conversation can drag the fade out panel. So
I guess you can also say that when it's gonna end on the fade out, it's not gonna end on the player. It's gonna end on you, non-player.
got it. I've done this minus the bonus step. It's not working. Transform as primary actor. Transform as primary actor. Oh wait. I think I do have characters selected for this. Hold on a second. No, I don't. Hmm. 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 I don't know what to do. The description. Invoked when a conversation ends. Transform as primary actor to your player. Player. Searching the web. What is this?
Says do not remove this game object. It contains Unity events reference. Oh.
I just met a hottie at the party.
That might be it.
Just made it a child.
Of the dialogue manager.
Yeah. This does not connect.
Oh shit. Oh look. It worked.
Oh.
It,
Oh my god.
It worked.
And that was off of you quitting the game
Yeah.
too. That's
well,
actually dope.
Now we know. Okay, in order for... Okay, that makes sense. That does make a lot of sense. That needs to be under the dialogue manager.
Oh.
Look at that, bro.
Heck yeah.
All right.
That's sick, dude.
So the fade out duration is too long now. Let's do 4 seconds.
Yeah.
Let's try that out. Save. How do I figure out how to do this? Alright, let me save that. Let's try 4 seconds and then we'll bake that in. Got 7 minutes left of the stream. Still too long, right?
Just a tad bit. So 3, I'm assuming.
And I'll be killing what's in the ocean with you.
That's just like the
Why do we killing by ourselves? Ugh. Even if I lost some of my money, that's good. You agree, right? You go with that?
agree.
Okay, saved. It's a lot of progress, and we learned a lot about the dialogue manager.
Yeah.
But we don't know how to get this shit to stop popping. So annoying.
Oh wait. On the bottom it says show at start. Bottom left. Bottom left. Show at start.
Yeah, I took it off.
There we go. Okay. No, cause I'm a little delayed, but
Oh yeah, you're right. You're
Yeah.
right. You're right. Okay. All right. Let's double check this. Oh, it was in a while. My hero. My hero.
heck yeah, brother.
Look at that. Let's see if we can get ChatGPT to knock one more off there.
What to give you the
Good.
Actually, I would think it would have to be on the customize or the template that we're currently using for those.
All right, on to taming that chonky response box. Let's shrink that bad boy to fit your content in your dialogue manager game object. All right. Dialogue UI. There's no way. There's no way. Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, I think it has to do with the actual dialogue box, and you're able to change.
What dialogue box were you talking about?
So if you go in
Display
the
settings. Hold on. Sorry.
no, you can-
Wow, there's so many. Interesting. We have a bunch of options here.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. 'Cause I'd seen it when you were putting the dialogue.
Mm-hmm.
There was a section where you can like customize, I think.
Same exact freaking thing.
Oh, that's...
Look, it's not
saving.
I think it's because yeah, this is giving me access to all the different types of game objects, including the player and stuff like that. So this isn't accurate. Very interesting though. What did I choose first? Enemy?
I have no idea.
Hold on. Now I'm scared that I fucked this up. Okay, good. Demo, enemy, player, private heart, room, sergeant, terminal, dialogue, data. Okay. Alright. Let's see if this guy said anything. Hold on, one last thing before we log off here. Again, you're absolutely right. Some of my previous advice was a bit too generic, so let's nail this with modern, accurate steps based on the current dialogue system for Unity. Alright. If you're in your dialogue UI prefab instance under your canvas. What? Wizard? What's this? UI.
Oh.
Hell yeah.
That's a lot of options.
That didn't work.
Because I think you need to review it, like go all the way towards the end. Oh, wait, no. Is it just like after something?
So he just jumps back to it.
Hmm. What if you go to the dialogue, like where you inputted all the things, like all the voice lines?
Mm-hmm. Templates?
You see where it says, yeah. Okay, no. Totally different than what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Wave. Unless there's like only a specific or like yeah, like certain UIs that work only for narration or like subtitles.
Yeah. Not
That
sure.
they're just like conflicting.
See, this is bad. See, now I can't fix it now. That's so bad. It's bad.
Oh, look at the bottom. There's a yellow text saying dialogue system, no dialogue UI found on dialogue manager. It will load default UI for now. So what it's loading up is the default, which is what we're running into.
Basic, standard, usable. What?
Excuse me. Yeah, because on that little bug or debug, it was also saying something about if it's in the script as well in the UI for that specific UI we're trying to select. Was it called Dead Enemy? Yeah, wasn't it Dead Enemy that we were using?
Dead enemy was something that we came across where it looked like it started looking the same way, but now it's stuck on this new thing. Hold on, what we're gonna do is this. Let me make sure that this is actually working correctly. Where's my script? Okay, that looks good. Actually, we'll just test this out real quick.
Yeah, because that's what I was saying in the debugging thing. It was saying something about some form of script.
Well, everything's a script, even when we don't have to go to the script to get there.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh shit. Okay, so that works. That's good. All right, let's save. My suspicions are that this needs to. Interesting. This is not saved anymore.
Huh.
Why is it giving me these options? Interesting. Hmm.
I mean, I feel like we were gonna want to change how it was gonna want to look like anyways. But
Look at this.
yeah, I see that.
So let's pick
Interesting. So I'm guessing they're
scrolling.
prefabs.
Yeah. And we've been inputting it as an instance
Yeah.
when we need to be doing it as a prefab.
Look at that, we're learning.
Yeah.
Step it up, look
Wow.
Oh, I see.
to the dark.
Okay.
Oh.
SMS. That's text.
Yeah, that's gonna be so funny. They're like texting right in front of each other.
Yeah.
Step it up, look sharp. Welcome to the dark.
Whoa.
What the heck?
I don't know. Dumb.
That was a flashbang.
Circle, mobile, nuke, old school, runic, sci-fi. Let's try sci-fi.
Step it up, look sharp. Welcome to the dark.
That's pretty cool.
Ooh, I like that, yeah. Very sci-fi.
This is nice. That's gonna be hard to beat, I gotta tell you. What is wheel? Sci-fi for the win.
Welcome to the dark.
That's the first one that I saw where like, okay, I don't mind having that over the one that we've been using.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Step it up.
Oh, it's
It's not
purple.
it's not the worst thing. Oh, it's purple.
Step it up.
Runic.
Look sharp. Welcome to the dark.
Runic might make sense for this
I-
world.
I wonder if there are. I mean, there obviously there are, but like a prefab shop just for like dialogue UIs.
Oh, there most definitely is 100%. I don't even have to look. Oh my god. Oh, okay. I was
What
gonna
the-
say that's horrible. All right, let's go back to standard templates, bubble, focus, letterbox. Let's try focus.
Step it up. Look sharp. Welcome to the dark.
It's a another version of what we were using. Interesting.
Rough,
Subtitle?
rough.
When the sun is fading in the darkness, watch the shadows dancing in your eyes. Lately, there's been ghosts in our apartment.
So that's the one.
Never see them in the light.
Oh no, I guess it wasn't. He was not found.
That's good to know. Ooh, JRPG.
Mhm.
Let's try adding an instance. Oh,
Words we say are shallow. The space in your bed was borrowed. Without you, I feel hollow, so hollow.
Oh, it has like a. What the heck? Label input.
oh, I
field?
can actually input. I can do that. You can do that. I forgot. That's why. That makes a lot of sense. Because you can go to these actors, and you can go here, and you can put portrait sprites. See that? Makes a
Yeah.
lot of sense. That's very cool.
Told me that you're
Ah. Oh yeah. Sure does make a lot of sense.
Wait, I don't understand. What is? Oh, we're still here. Prefabs, art, standard UI. There we go.
Yeah, we definitely have to go prefab hunting to find the right
We
one.
will. We absolutely will. Let's go and find our templates. Basic. Let's see if this works real quick. Oh. Oh my god, undo. Why does this keep happening? What am I doing wrong? Oh, I see. Hmm. Yay! So that did work. Okay, that's good to know if we ever want to revert back to our usual shit.
It's the basic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Look at this. This has stayed there. Because we created an instance of it. Just gone.
Oh, yeah. Bye.
Let's go to the decision real quick. See what that looks like. That's nice. Look at that.
Wow.
That's
yeah. Oh my god. And it highlights too.
Clean. That's clean.
That's sick. I like that. Yes, dude.
That's what we need. Look at that. All right. Well, I think we can mark that as complete as well. So it is and I'm glad that you said that because you're absolutely right. It's truly dependent on the dialogue. The dialogue box that we choose. So
Oh.
dialogue UI. Sci-fi UI dialogue packs. Sci-fi.
I think that's about 2 seconds.
Medieval Kingdom UI.
Jeez.
Not a lot of options.
I honestly like currently what we have right now, but
We're definitely got that change it.
yeah, what we're looking at seems a little too. Perfect time, literally.
Just horrible timing. I'm 25 minutes past my stream time.
Don't build from scratch unless you really want pain.
Don't gotta tell me twice. I knew I freaking did that. Okay. Oh my god, what the hell? How did that happen? How did that happen? Okay. Alright. Open and edit the prefab. Double click my custom dialog UI to edit it in prefab mode. Whoa, look at this. Holy shit.
This is crazy.
This is nice. Definitely something we could revisit.
100%. Yeah. Yeah, I totally forgot we could literally customize our own freaking UI. Sick.
This is going to be a little time consuming, but it'll be something that we can basically use throughout the rest of the game.
Along for the ride with the Ignator.
What?
Said DJ _
DJ
X.
How are you, buddy? We're actually ending the stream right now. We're a little about 28 minutes over. Appreciate the support, though.
Yeah.
All right, well, I think we made a lot of progress today. Thanks, as always, Joker, for jumping in and helping out, giving suggestions.
Yeah. Always.
Important update, we will not be streaming this Thursday. We'll also not be streaming the following week. I'll be on vacation during those days. So we will pick things back up on Tuesday, the 24th, 2 weeks from today. Until then, take good care. I hope you guys have a great evening and a great rest of your week. And yeah, see you soon. Bye-bye.